Dude, you know when I was in Nashville this past weekend, and I was sitting there watching the news during the day, and they just go like, oh, and folks, if you're in the downtown area and you see the police doing something that seems a little disturbing, don't worry, it's just an exercise. Ooh. And then they continued on, and it was just like, you didn't do any follow-up, like, or there's no more information. An exercise, what are they practicing for? Whatever they're doing is like scary. Now, I'm not saying they're going to come at us. Is it some sort of anti-terrorism thing? I have no fucking idea what it was, but like just the kind of vagueness that they, dude, right before the Dodgers scored the other day, NPR, my wife listens to that shit, and I,
NPR, please
NPR.
donate.
Morning becomes eclectic.
If you enjoy this show, Fresh Air with Terry Gross.
Yeah, there's always those pauses. Now, Joe, when you first started doing stand-up.
You know what I think of? I've discussed this before, but it's kind of important. You know what I think of when I think of those people? Do you know who that guy John Gomeshi is?
I like NPR, but it's just so easily to be made fun of.
It's easy to drive off the road into a fucking tree when you're listening to it, too. You're just
oh, yeah, no, there's a lot of
droning on. But
yeah,
that style
energy.
of talk, which nobody does, that really super sensitive left-wing style of talk, the guy that was...
he do that really well.
The main guy that did that was this guy, Jean Gomeshi, who was on CBC in Canada. Mm-hmm. And it turned out he liked to beat the fuck out of girls when he was having sex with them. He would punch them in the face and club them in the head, and it was crazy shit. And one girl came out... Yeah, and he would do it without asking them. It was like,
That's a strong move.
It's crazy.
That's a strong move in the rack.
Well, I mean, who knows who's telling the truth? Because he was kind of acquitted of a lot of it. It's because it was very difficult to find.
But does he have the money to get acquitted? You know.
Well, that's true. That's a good point. But he was fired, and there was a gang of girls that came out and said he used to beat them up.
Oh wait!
Remember that?
The guy who does the interviews.
Yes, he talks like this. Bill Burr. So tell me, Bill, how did you get into
bugged me one time when I'm not saying all of it. I don't know what the fuck he does in his personal life, but Russell Peters was on there. And he just goes like, he's like, Russell, you have 9 cars. And Russell's like, yeah. And he goes, why? And it just fucking like making him feel bad because he's doing well. He's, and then Russell had to fucking basically justify it and come up with money. And now I can have it. And I'm sorry. I fucking made it.
Wow.
And I like cars.
Wow.
Yeah, so
he's a twat.
No, I'm not saying he's a twat. That's just just right there.
Well, even if
there, that bugged me. I hate when people fucking do stuff like that.
He had to hit somebody. If you get like 8 or 9 chicks that are saying you beat the fuck out of them while you're having sex with them, even if you get off, somebody got cracked.
What is your number? That innocent until guilty, or how many accusations?
Bill Cosby, I gave in around 30.
30?
I heard the first couple, but we had heard that, right?
I tapped out around 7.
Yeah.
No, I there was rumors of his infidelity, but
yes.
I never heard of
the drugging. You never heard that?
No,
I did. I heard that. I had heard that. It was like a rumor. It was a rumor that he would drug women. It was a rumor a long time ago. There was a court case that is part of this case from, I believe it was like 2005, and that was one of the reasons why they weren't allowed to admit that evidence, because the judge had made a decision that if he paid this woman off, then it couldn't be admissible in a future trial. But it was all verbal. They didn't get anything on paper. So once they found out they didn't get this on paper, they're like, well, we're going to admit this. And then the woman came out, and then he sued the woman that he gave the money to for drugging her. And the whole thing is very, very sordid. But with Bill Cosby, I think it's up to like 50 or something crazy.
Yeah.
So you got to wonder, out of those 50, there's probably like 12 that are just crazy. Like, he drugged me too.
Yeah. But the fact... But the fact that he'd still be open 30 is just nuts.
You and I were supposed to go see Bill Cosby in Vegas. We had made we were talking about doing it, but we both flaked, and we never wound up doing it. And that's one of my main regrets to this day. I would have liked to see him before the stink hit him.
I did. I saw it right before. God. I met him, and then 3 months later, I saw him.
Do you remember when he was doing shows still? Like, all those women were coming out, and he was still doing shows? Like, he was still doing shows. He was like, fuck it, I'm still doing them. And he went out and he still did those shows for a little while.
I think he thought he was powerful enough to just sort of ignore it, and then it wasn't going to it wasn't going to come around. But dude, I got to tell you, if you gave me 1,000 guesses, not 1,000, but if you gave me 200 guesses, his name would not be on that. Out of all the fucking people, like if you said, okay, there's a comic out there doing this shit.
Really?
You got your top 20 where you'd be like, oh yeah.
You know what?
Well, I never heard the rumors.
I did hear the rumors, and also there was a time.
Am I not in the clubhouse? How am I a comedian this long and I'm not fucking hearing the rumors?
I heard it from Hollywood people. I didn't hear it from comics. I heard it from people in the business. I heard it from like actors and from people that like work on TV show sets. I heard it during the news radio days. I had heard it. Yeah,
he was doing it at the show.
He was doing it forever.
Oh, two people that were on the show.
Two people, allegedly. Who the fuck knows? But there's something. It was something unbelievably creepy. But after the accusations came out, when he was still doing shows, he would go on stage with one eye looking to the left, one eye looking straight. Remember, he developed a dead eye somewhere along the line, right? So he'd go on stage with that weird eye.
They cut him some slack. He's like 90.
I know.
Damn it for the grace of God.
But he's dying, right? I mean, that's my point. Is like things are falling off the wheels, right? The wheels are falling off the ride. And he's got this shirt on, this sweater on that says, "Hello, friend." And he's on stage, and he walks out there, and everybody's clapping and cheering, and some guy's yelling out, "You're a rapist! You're a rapist!" And then, they grab the guy and shuffle him out, and then people going, "We love you, Bill!" And he just doesn't even acknowledge
He's
the
like,
guy.
just ignore them.
Yeah. It was something crazy about that. It was like the last sparks before they threw the water on the fire. It was like there was just a little hope, like, we got some embers.
Last spark before they threw the gas, you mean?
I mean, his career. I mean, his life. They threw water on him. Like, I mean, it's over. Like, no one's going to go see him live now, right? I mean, it's kind of over.
Doesn't water put out the sparks?
Yes, that's what I mean. They threw the water on him.
Wouldn't that mean they saved him?
He had a moment of like there was still some sparks in his career.
Okay.
The accusations came out, but he was still doing these shows, and people still came out and they're like, "We love you, Bill." He's got this
you got to
shirt
explain
on.
analogies to me. I'm not the brightest guy.
It wasn't a good analogy. Your analogy is probably better. The blowing the flames on the fire. It's like we almost had it out.